May 3rd Planning Commission of the City of Columbia. Welcome to Planning Commission members, staff, and guests. We ask for your patience during this virtual meeting. We do have multiple staff members behind the scenes working with us today. We have Lucinda Statler, Planning Administrator, Rachel Bailey, the Zoning Administrator, Jonathan Chambers, the Land Development Administrator, and Andrew Livingood, the Annexation Coordinator.
During the meeting, you will see live images or still images of Planning Commission members and the administrators. However, images of the applicant and the public will not be visible. The public can participate in a number of ways. You can just watch the meeting, or you can participate via email. You can call in on the phone, or you can log into the web session. And when participating, please provide your name for documentation purposes. To watch the meeting, the public may stream the meetings through the City TV accessed at www.youtube.com/user/ColumbiaSC-Government. The public may also submit letters and statements via email to cocboardmeeting@columbiasc.gov leading up to and/or during the meeting, as this account will be monitored during the meetings. Emails and letters that are sent during the meeting will be read into the record. Emails and letters received prior to the meeting have been forwarded to the Commission. The public may participate via phone. You may call 855-925-2801, and when prompted, please enter the meeting code 7921. And I will go ahead and call the roll. Mr. Cohn?
Here.
Ms. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Harp?
Here.
Ms. Hartz?
Here.
Ms. James?
Here.
Dr. Mandel?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Mr. Tupper?
Here.
And Mr. Frost?
Here.
And everyone's here. We've got a quorum.
I'll give a brief meeting overview, a brief review of the meeting format. Applicants with requests before the Planning Commission are allotted a presentation time of 10 minutes. This time should include, but is not limited to, an overview of the project, case history, and any pertinent meetings held regarding the request. This time also includes all persons presenting information on behalf of the applicant, such as attorneys, engineers, and architects. This time limit does not include any questions asked by the Planning Commission or staff regarding requests. Members of the general public are given the opportunity to address their concerns in intervals of 2 minutes. The administrator has a timer and will make presenters aware of when their time has expired. The Planning Commission reserves the right to amend these procedures on a case-by-case basis. The Planning Commission uses the consent agenda to approve non-controversial or routine matters by a single motion and vote. Examples of such items include approval of site plans, annexations, and street names. If a member of the Planning Commission or the general public wants to discuss an item on the consent agenda, that item is removed from the consent agenda and considered during the meeting. The Planning Commission then approves the remaining consent agenda items.
And I will go ahead and read the consent agenda. The first item is to approve the April 5th, 2021 minutes. And then we'll move into future land use map amendments and zoning map amendments for pending annexations. Item number 2 is 26.35 acres on the south side of Technology Circle. Request recommendation to assign land use classification of employment campus and assign zoning of office and institutional district for a pending annexation. The property is currently classified as Economic Development Center Corridor and zoned GC by Richland County. Item 3, 314 Hayward Street. Request for recommendation to assign land use classification of urban core mixed residential type 3 and assign zoning of 2-family residential in the Granby Architectural Conservation District Design Preservation Overlay for a pending annexation. The property is currently classified as mixed residential, high density, and zoned RMHD by Richland County. Item 4, 10.6 acres and 8.12 acres on the west side of Broad River Road. Request recommendation to assign land use classification of urban edge mixed residential and community activity corridor and assign zoning of general residential, a portion within a flood protective overlay and neighborhood commercial for a pending annexation. The property is currently classified as mixed residential high density and zoned GC and OI by Richland County. Under the zoning text amendment, we have item number 5. This is to amend section 17-681B7, districts identified, Architectural Conservation District, and Granby Architectural Conservation District guidelines. Request to add TMS number 08816-10-11, also known as 314 Hayward Street, to section 17.681B7, also known as the Granby Architectural Conservation District, and update district boundary map to reflect proposed changes by adding said address 314 Hayward Street to the Granby Architectural Conservation District at the time of the property's annexation. Under interim future land use map amendment and interim zoning map amendment for a pending annexation, item 6 is an 8.8 acre portion on the south side of Old Leesburg Road. Request recommendation to assign interim land use classification of urban edge residential small lot and assign interim zoning of single family residential district for a pending annexation. The property is currently classified as neighborhood medium density and zoned RSHD by Richland County. Under site plan review, item 7, 2100 Waverly Street, request site plan approval for the construction of an approximately 30,000 square foot classroom expansion of the Carver Lyon Elementary School. The property is zoned RG1, general residential. Item 8, 13.7 acres, Liberty Ridge Drive and Jacobs Mill Pond Road. Request site plan approval for the construction of 107 lot attached single family residential subdivision, the Liberty Ridge Townhomes. The property is zoned commercial planned unit development. And finally, item 9, 120 Columbiana Circle, request site plan approval for the construction of an approximately 8,500 square foot retail building. The property is zoned large scale planned unit development. And that concludes the items on the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you, Lucinda. Is there anyone from the Planning Commission that would like any item removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none. Is there anyone from the public that would like to have an item removed from the consent agenda? When participating, please provide your name for the minutes. Please communicate by sending an email to cocboardmeeting@columbiasc.gov. Please communicate via phone by pressing *2 to leave a voicemail or *3 to speak in person. We will now pause to allow communication from the public. That phone number is 855-925-2801, and the meeting code is 7921.
Mr. Chair, I do have one caller in the queue.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, this is Harold Pickerel. I was on the consent agenda. I don't need to speak.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pickler.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Any other callers on the line?
I have one caller that's in the menu. I'll see if they end up raising their hand. Sometimes it takes a minute. That caller left a message for an item on the regular agenda. So that appears to be all that we have for the consent agenda at this time.
Okay, thank
I
you.
haven't seen any emails come through either, so.
Okay, having no emails and having no callers from the public wishing to change the consent agenda or pull an item, I'll entertain a motion. Can I get a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda subject to all conditions contained in the case summaries?
So moved.
Got a
Mr. Chairman,
second?
second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The consent agenda is passed.
Chairman Frost, this is Lee. I just wanted to verify that my motion was Dr. Mandel and the second was Ms. James. Is that correct?
I
Okay,
think so, yes.
thank you.
All right. The Planning Commission will now move forward with those items on the regular agenda.
All right, that's going to take us to the site plan review, item number 10, which is S-Plat 2021-0012, which is 30.35 acres on the northeast side of Lost Creek Drive, west of Pond Oak Lane, and east of Hawks Nest Court. And this is a request for a attached single-family residence neighborhood on, they're proposing to construct 127 attached lots, attached single-family residences, and the lots will range from 2,200 square feet to 3,500 square feet. This property is currently zoned planned unit development, and the current PUD allows for up to 216 attached single-family residences. However, the applicant is proposing 127. This request was initially slotted to be before the Planning Commission last month. However, there was an outpour of neighborhood concern with regards to the request. So the applicant chose to defer the application such that they could meet with the neighborhood association and kind of explain their request. It is our understanding that they have done that. There are there's a synopsis of the neighborhood meeting provided from the developer, as well as letters from the adjacent property owners. And I believe the applicant is present and can answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you.
Unless there's any questions for staff.
Any questions from the Planning Commission to staff at this time? Would anybody from the Planning Commission like to hear from the applicant?
Yes.
Okay. If the applicant is present, we'd love to hear.
Yep, absolutely. Yes, sir. So this development is 100, as Mr. Jonathan said, this development is 127 attached single-family residential. The current PUD allows for 216 units, but at the current time, and obviously at Planning Commission, we're only going for 127 attached units. Our goal for this layout was to kind of preserve the nature of the pre-existing subdivision by creating large buffers to kind of keep it separated from other development neighborhoods, just like the original developer did in his intentions of the other phases. I believe within it, it describes the lot sizes and things such as that. It's going to be Richland County, I believe it's Richland County utilities for the sewer, and it is City of Columbia for the water. Mr. Jonathan virtually addressed everything. If you guys have any questions or anything such as that, I'm happy to answer anything.
Mr. Yan, I do have a question. What's the latest from the neighborhood association and the outreach from the neighbors? Are y'all in agreement essentially for this development?
So what we've done is, upon us receiving some Jonathan and other members of staff letting us know that there was some opposition at the first meeting, we decided that it'd be a lot better option rather than pushing something through to go ahead and address the neighborhood's concerns and things such as that. So what we pursued holding a board meeting with the members of the board of Chestnut Hill Plantation. We discussed the general questions that the residents had within the subdivision and what the board members had within the subdivision. We then created a big answer sheet to send out to all the residences that were interested in it, that pretty much anybody could have submitted a question, and then we addressed those questions within that document. All questions really didn't have any true wrongful opposition when it came to the development itself. It was more just questions about the development, how the development was going to happen, standard development practice, clearing, grading, erosion control, traffic on the roads, utilities, things like that. Not really much opposition when it came to the actual physical development itself. Obviously, residences around it are going to have opposition. They'd like it to stay the way it is, but there was very little opposition when it came to questions received to us. And once we held that forum first, and then after that forum was completed, anybody that couldn't make comments at that forum, we then held an email forum where you could send in emails to the developer, which is me. We send in emails to the developer, and then I would answer those emails, and we just pretty much anybody that had a question would send an email, and then we address those concerns in that email with the Chestnut Hill Plantation board attached to all emails.
Got it. So, Jonathan, maybe a question for staff, but currently the way this PUD is, it allows for 216 units, correct? Or 216 lots, but the developer is going to build 127 lots.
That is correct.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Any other questions from Planning Commission? Hearing none. So we'll move to public comment. We encourage those who would like to comment via email or the web to begin sending in letters and emails. Emails should go to cocboardmeeting@columbiasc.gov or on the web at https://publicinput.com/cocpc-May 2021. For those wanting to leave a voicemail or speak live, please call 855-925-2801. And when prompted, please enter the meeting code 7921. Then press *2 to leave a voicemail or press *3 to speak live. Please be sure your computer audio is off to avoid any feedback. We will now hear any comments that have been received in writing or any of those via voicemail.
I've not seen any emails come through since the meeting started, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Okay. Andrew, do you have any callers on the line regarding this case?
I do. I will patch through the first caller right now.
Good evening. Can you hear?
Hello, my name is David Bergeron. I represent the Chestnut Hill Plantation Homeowners Association.
Yes, sir.
Are you okay? Dawson has reached out to us and had a meeting with us. That was very nice. The Q&A session on the email, we still have not received any copies of those answers. Chestnut Hill believes the project should be approved, but with certain conditions. Condition 1, we would like the emergency access road to be paved. Tier intends to build the required emergency access road using gravel. We can tell you from experience this won't work. The city recently spent several $1 million to rebuild Lost Creek Drive. The gravel from this access road will run downhill onto Lost Creek, getting ground into the new pavement and damaging vehicles. The road will become a rutted, muddy eyesore, not suitable for heavy emergency vehicles. Also, by our covenants, all new construction must be pre-approved as being in harmony with the rest of the neighborhood. Gravel drives are not allowed in our neighborhood. Concrete would be in harmony, as well as virtually maintenance-free. Properly built asphalt road would also be acceptable. Condition 2 is about the land clearing and the runoff, the erosion. We're concerned with erosion from the site uphill into the existing properties. I think that is the major concern of the current residents. Tier plans to clear the entire site up to the top of the hill, but then only build the bottom half in phase 1. The top half would wait until phase 1 is sold out. This could be months, it could be years. Tier assures us they'll install silt fencing, but I'm sure many of us have seen this fencing get overrun and fail after only a short time. We're not confident in this erosion control method. So the HOA would like that no land cleared until construction is about to begin. I have sent an email. I sent it before the meeting, and I sent it again as soon as this agenda item was called up. I'm willing to send it a third time if you think that'll help.
Yes, sir. Please do.
All right. Can you tell me again the email address? Obviously, you're not getting it. I must have typed something in wrong.
Lucinda, can you back up to that email
Oh,
address?
yeah, I'm sorry. When was the email sent? Because it may have been included in the packet. Today?
There was one before the meeting started, and then I sent it a second time just as soon as this agenda item 10 was called up.
So while she's checking,
I'm sending it to
I'll read the email address to you again. It should be COC board meeting at columbiasc.gov.
Yep, that is what I'm sending to. Is it too big?
Usually,
I've got a couple of attachments on it.
usually about 10 megabytes is about, I mean, sometimes we can get things a little bit bigger than that, but that's the general.
All right, I'm only sending 2 megabytes.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
I just haven't seen it.
Mr. Bergeron, does your email basically just explain what you just mentioned as far as conditions, or is there something inside the email?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
That's basically what I just talked about. There's some more detail, and there's a picture of a place we used to have that was gravel, and we tried for years to get the city to pave it. The gravel all ran off. It became a rutted, muddy mess.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any questions from Planning Commission to Mr. Bergeron? Here none. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bergeron.
Thank you.
All right, Andrew, are there any other callers on the line?
Yes, I do have one more caller in the queue. They also left a voicemail, but so you may want to ask them if they're going to restate what's in the voicemail. But here you go.
Good evening. Can you hear us? Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ross Crow. I live on Lost Creek Drive. And if you lived here where I do, you would be disgusted by the people speeding by at 50, 60 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. I walk my dog every day. I'm run off the road at times. There's children that live on this road and in these houses, and it's very scary. And now you want to put another 240 cars on the road, but haven't thought about anything about how you're going to handle all this traffic and these extra people who don't give a crap about anything but getting where they want to go. They throw out trash, speed by my house, with all disregard for the law. We tried to get speed bumps put in. We had the neighborhood sign enough petitions, but they said they wouldn't do it. There's no way to control this traffic. And now we have another 250 cars on the road going by our house. No, thank you. This is awful. So I'm very much against this development, and I think all my neighbors are as well, and I speak for them. So tell me how you're going to solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from Planning Commission to Mr. Crow? All right, thank you, Mr. Crow. All right, do we have any other callers on the line, Andrew?
Yes, sir. I'm going to patch this latest caller in.
Thank you.
And again, just give it a few seconds to connect.
Hello? Hello, all.
Yes. Hello.
Hi. My name is Desiree Manuel, and I'm calling to represent my mom, Patricia Manuel, who is a resident on Ashwood Lake Boulevard. I see that you have on your agenda for planning a land use. The problem right now is that my mom is 84 years old and she does not have water. When the water company came out, they were saying that the pressure in those areas is going down. It's very low because there's so much building and your infrastructures are really old. So what I'd like to know is how can I get water for my mom? She's 84 years old. I live in California, so I'm actually calling in from Los Angeles right now. But my mom is there at 84 years old with no water. She cannot take a shower. She has not taken a shower for a long time. So who can I speak to? Who can help me with this? I've gone to the water department. They've gone out a few times, but no one's come back and the problem is not solved.
Is that a question staff can answer? Give her somebody to call?
I guess the best way to deal with that, if Andrew, if you could maybe get her contact information and then we can get someone, the best person to get in contact with her. Probably the easiest way to do it.
And Andrew, who are you? Because I need your name and title,
Yes,
please, sir.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Andrew Livingood.
Could you spell your last name, please?
Yes, that is L-I-V as in Victor, E-N-G-O-O-D. And I'll give you my phone number, and I think I have your contact information here. But my phone number is 803-545-3217.
And may I have your email address too?
Certainly. It is Andrew.Livingood, L-I-V-E-N-G-O-O-D, at Columbia SC, again, ColumbiaSC.gov.
Columbia.sc.gov?
No, ColumbiaSC.gov. So no dot between Columbia and
Oh, thank you so much. And what's your position?
Well, I'm the Annexation Coordinator, but I can help you.
What coordinator are you, sir?
I work with annexations, so my title is Annexation Coordinator.
Annexation doesn't. Oh, really? Yeah, because this is a desperate problem. I mean, and I'm in California, and it's very difficult for me. And I've been calling people and emailing. Just that there's a number of people in her area. It's not just her. It's several of the homeowners in that complex that are on Ashwood Lake Drive. And many of them are old and not online and not on computer, and they barely use cell phones. I mean, they're really behind in an antiquated way. But
okay,
they have children.
Sure. So I'll tell you what. I think your phone number begins with area code 619.
Yes, that's
and
more.
Ends with 48. I'll
That's
call
correct.
you after this meeting is over, and we'll touch base.
Okay, well, could you keep it on the agenda to look at? Because since you're doing land use and development, and I'm an attorney, by the way, I see a problem in the area, in many of the areas that are going to be developed. They need to look at the water use and the water pressure for the residents, because many of them are seniors and they don't know how to speak out. They don't know where to go, who to talk to, none of those things. They don't drive, they don't use the internet, so their voices aren't being heard.
Okay.
So thank you.
Then again, like I said, I'll like this meeting. Okay, great.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll look forward to your call. Bye.
Thank you. All right. Andrew, thank you for that. Is there any other callers on the line regarding case number 10?
Just so Mr. Bergeron knows, we did find his email. It had gone to our quarantine folder. So we did pull that out and it will become part of the case record.
Thank you, Rachel.
Okay, and he has raised his hand to speak again, Mr. Bergeron. So at your discretion, I can connect him.
Okay, we'll hear him out again. Yes, sir, Mr. Bergeron.
Hi, I beg your pardon. I was prompted by what the last lady said, but it turns out I'm thinking of Richland County. We're concerned about the sewer. That's not your problem.
Okay, thank you. All right. Does that cover the callers, Andrew, or is there any other callers on the line?
That does cover the callers.
Okay. Are there any follow-up questions from Planning Commission to staff or to the applicant?
I have one question for, I guess, just between one of the callers' comments and the plans. There was a comment made to the effect of clearing the entire track. And it looks like on the drawing, there's a limit to disturbance. It's maybe about 40% of it. Is that, is there someone on staff that can confirm? I guess I'm trying to get an understanding. Are they, maybe the applicants can speak to that. Are they clearing the entire track or just the section inside the disturbance?
The preliminary limits of disturbance are included within the document, and that is the only areas to be cleared.
So the buffers between that and the neighboring subdivisions?
Correct. Where you see 16.45 acres of tree save area, those areas will not be cleared and will be left undisturbed.
Okay.
They are using those areas for their density factor for landscaping as well. So they're getting credit for preserving some of that area.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
And Chairman Frost, if I may, Rachel sent me the email that had gone into spam earlier, so I don't know if you guys want to, we don't, I guess, have to read it since he was able to talk, but there was an image. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
This is the email that was trying to come through a little bit ago. So just since we got it, I figured I might want to just take a look at that. I don't know, I guess that's it.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay.
Speaking of emails, I'm assuming we didn't have any other emails, Lucinda?
Let me take a look here. Make sure. I don't see any additional emails.
All right. Any final questions from Planning Commission?
Mr. Chair, I have a quick final question for the developer. As noted with the homeowners association, it was stated that they were concerned about gravel versus paved roads. Is there any plans to ensure that all the roads within that neighborhood will be paved?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am. All roads will be paved.
Okay, thank you very much.
I believe that question was, and if I can just be clear, I believe that question was wasn't with regards to the roads and the roads leading to the residences, but I believe it was for the emergency access road. And so, Dawson, are you saying that the emergency access road will be paved?
The area that we're willing to, the area that enters the right of way, that area we will be fine paving that. That is correct.
Okay, so the 20-foot gated emergency access will be paved
Into the right of way. Into the right of way. So that
Okay,
so that the gravel cannot be tracked onto the main road. Where the statements before said where gravel can be tracked onto the road will not be applicable because of that 20-foot paved right of way.
Okay, so that I'm clear, the 20-foot access, you're proposing that the 20-foot access road will be paved and or concrete in the right of way, and the remaining portion will be gravel.
Correct. That is correct.
Jonathan, can you show us where this emergency access road is?
Yes, let's see.
And Mr. Jonathan, just to confirm, I'm confirming that that is not a requirement for us to do that, correct? It can be completely gravel, but we're choosing to make it paved. Is that correct?
I believe that the emergency access road can be gravel as long as it meets the fire department's requirements with regards to it being able to withstand a fire truck. So emergency access roads can be gravel.
Correct. I was just confirming that that was not a requirement, that we are doing that above what is required. Thank you.
All right, so let me.
I think I can see it there.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Cul-de-sac back out to the.
Correct.
Road.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from Planning Commission?
I actually have a question. This is Raquel. So will this prevent the current issue that's happening?
Are you saying with regards to the emergency access road, or Mr. Bertrand's discussion about the gravel washing away?
Yes, the gravel washing away. So with the portion that will be paved, will it prevent the current issue that the neighborhood has complained about? Will it prevent that?
I mean, a portion of it would be paved and a portion of it's going to be gravel. So depending on, depending on the weather and depending on the amount of rain and that kind of thing, it is possible that if the gravel is not maintained, it could
have the same issue?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Dawson, this is Mason. What's the length of the right of way for that emergency, or what's your right of way?
I believe the length of the right of way is either 20 or 30 feet. Is what the length is.
You be 30 feet of concrete or asphalt at that?
It'd be asphalt.
Okay, so 30 feet of asphalt per se?
Yes, sir. And in this circumstance, and it does not apply to SCDOT. Obviously, it's a City of Columbia road, but in a in a SCDOT circumstance, they're normally very stingent on things when it comes to gravel and things like that. And as long as there is within the right-of-way pavement, they have no issue with any road tracking. I mean, obviously, any road that is gravel and then within the right-of-way having pavement, they're completely fine with that due to the pavement relieving all that gravel before it enters the main road.
Fair enough. Appreciate it.
Any other questions from Planning Commission? Okay, hearing none, I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve the site plan, subject to staff conditions, at the point at Chestnut Hill Plantation.
Got a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify. by saying-
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
before is, and I know you said with staff comments, Ms. James, is that with the condition that the right-of-way of the emergency access road be paved that's been discussed? Without it?
Yes, with it.
Okay. Thank you.
thanks for clearing that motion up. So got a motion, got a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is approved, subject to staff comment and right-of-way paving for the emergency access.
Thank you. That's going to take us to the next case, which is a site plan review at 3452 North Main Street, 3500 North Main Street, 1217 Sunset Drive, and 1205 through 1211 Phillips Street, various TMS. And this is the North Main Brewery, which is going to be a mixed-use development. This project was heard by the Planning Commission on April the 5th, 2021. And the application was deferred by the Planning Commission with regards to a traffic impact study. Since then, the applicant has provided a traffic impact study that has been reviewed and approved by our traffic engineer. Engineering concurs with the findings of the traffic impact study, but has recommended approval of the project with the condition that the intersections of North Main and Cook Street, as well as North Main and Miller Street, be improved to increase the turn radii such that commercial vehicles and automobiles can maneuver that intersection when stacking. And that would also be done with the coordination between SCDOT, the developer, as well as the City of Columbia. And that is the recommendation of the city's traffic engineer. There are several staff comments, but the majority of the staff comments are standard in nature. There's also a condition with regards to the continuous access. This project also entails the acquisition of Phillips Street, which again is a City of Columbia City Council and court issue. However, there's a recommendation that public pedestrian access still be provided along the Phillips Street and Avondale right-of-way. The applicant is present and can explain their case at this time.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Fort Burnett. I am the applicant and a civil engineer with the Land Plan Group. I won't bore you guys with a full-blown rehashing of the project. You'll probably remember this from last meeting, but maybe there was somebody that was absent. So I'll just give a brief overview. This is a 53,000 square foot office building addition, which will face, I guess, North Main and Sunset. And then there's an existing historic 66,000 square foot building that will be converted into a production brewery, tap room, catering, restaurant, among other things.
one of the big things that the developer wanted to do was create a campus feel with the project. And so we are in the process of taking over Phillips, and I think we've actually already got the paperwork for Avondale to incorporate those roads into the project. And one of the reasons we're doing Phillips, a couple reasons. We actually own property on the east side of Phillips next to the railroad. And so that joins all the property together. And then Phillips is actually kind of a substandard intersection with Sunset. The road is actually in the railroad right of way. And so if we are granted Phillips to be taking that over, we would actually have to close that because then the road is in the railroad right of way. And so we've had discussions with DOT about moving our access on Sunset over a little bit so that we've got a good distance from the intersection of North Main and Sunset, as well as the railroad tracks. I think, one of the things that was missing last week was the full-blown traffic study. They are not recommended any off-site traffic improvements, as we've got access from former Avondale, access north on Phillips, and then also access on Sunset. I think that's kind of it as an overview. I would like to point out one thing, though, about one of the recommendations from staff, the traffic, and they're wanting us to create a larger turning radius on intersections of North Main and Miller and North Main on Cook. And I guess the traffic engineer and I have maybe a differing opinions on what's acceptable turning radiuses and the types of trucks. And so if the planning commission so chooses, it would be great if they would take that caveat out and have that as a work between the staff level and engineer, because we don't really know exactly how those intersections are going to play out. We would have to require right of way, which is not always easy to do as a private citizen. We don't have the power of eminent domain, so we may have to come up with a workaround if we even feel that that's necessary. So if the board does choose to grant the approval, I would ask that condition be taken out and deferred to the staff level, because we may have to have some sort of workaround. So the developer, Greg Middleton, is on, and I think he's going to talk a little bit more about some of the efforts that we've had with the neighbors. Greg, are you there? Maybe.
Are you looking for me?
Oh, Scott, is that you? Sorry.
Yeah, Scott and Greg are here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, y'all go ahead. I'll mute myself.
I think you were pretty clear on the whole aspect of it. I was just saying that I'll just reiterate the closing of Phillips, I think, is important just because it's dangerous. In order to turn right on Phillips Street with a big truck right now, you have to stop on the railroad track, which is extremely dangerous. Phillips Street also appears to not be built for these large trucks. So the city will need to come back in if that were to remain open and redo that entire road so that it's not a residential road any longer, but it's big enough for all these big tree trucks and our tractor trailer trucks and stuff to go through. So I just think that it's irresponsible at some point to keep that road open considering where it's located.
And I'd like to reiterate too, we actually are going to have loading dock, and we're going to have 18-wheelers coming into our site. And so we've got to find a solution to get 18-wheelers into our site as well. So we are a willing participant to make sure we've got full access on property. So I just would like to have those details left at the staff level.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from Planning Commission to the applicant or to staff at this point?
Go
ahead, Harris.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Harris. No, go ahead, Harris.
The part about the turning radius, where was that as a specific condition?
That's located, that's located under Drew Ritter, who's the interim traffic engineer. It's in his comments.
Okay.
As well as it's listed in the case summary as well.
Okay.
And I believe Drew is on the call if there's any questions specifically to those comments.
Does staff have any issue reviewing that with the engineers, you know, at a staff level to review those turning radii and, you know, get the best you can get based on right of way and that sort of thing?
Well, I think and Drew's here, but I think you know, from a staff standpoint, you know, our traffic engineer, who's the reviewing authority, has looked at it, and they feel that the turning radius is hard to navigate, especially if there's vehicles stacked on both of those intersections. And so I'm not sure that, you know, deferring that to staff would be the best way to go with that. You know, traffic engineer has recommended what their approval is with that condition.
I was wondering if I could just comment real quick on that. I wouldn't want to burden the Planning Commission to have to come back again if, for example, we were able to get right away on Miller, but not on Cook. And so that's one of the reasons why we would like to have that, I guess, worked out at the staff level. I mean, there's certain things that are completely out of our control. I mean, if we can't get right away from a private citizen, as a private citizen, you know, we don't have that right of eminent domain like DOT or the city. There's really nothing we can do. And so then we're stuck with this condition that we can't meet. And so that was one of the reasons why we wanted to make that at the staff level instead of the condition of the Planning Commission approval.
And I think that's that's why, you know, I believe it says, you know, the developer in between, you know, coordination between SCDOT and the City of Columbia. But again, I believe Drew is on the phone and on the call, and I think he can speak to it. Drew.
Yeah, I'm here. I was gonna say, yeah, I think we can. And I'll be honest, I just got the study last week, so I think we can work. We can work with that, Hoyt, as far as if it's kind of. And I'll be honest, I don't know the frequency of how many, you know, tractor trailers are coming in and out of there. I don't know the details of, you know, I know Sox and Freeman is back there. I think we could maybe work out a plan to maybe if it's just doing Miller, maybe just tell them. I know Cook, they stop at Cook because they go to that gas station right there. So if it's figuring out some sort of plan, yes, I think we can work with you on that.
Okay, that'd be great.
So just another question I have. North Main Street is DOT, correct? And is Cook, Miller both DOT streets?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, I mean North Main. This is Drew again. I was gonna say North Main is DOT, yes, but I was gonna say that's with that North Main being the main road. It's gonna the intersection is gonna be their intersection. It's gonna trump whether it's city or state. But yes, to answer your question.
Right. Okay. So it's more of a we could put the condition on the developer, but then the DOT has to have an approval of the radii and the encroachment of any widened radius, correct?
Yeah, yes. I apologize. I'm in the car. So yes, that's.
So, I mean, it almost to me seems like it's got to be just a discussion between staff and DOT and, you know, work out the best possible arrangement at the time.
it's going to be, yes, absolutely. It'll be a joint effort. Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So Drew, are we hearing you correctly that, you know, you are willing to work with the developer and with the DOT to progress that further, that we could take that as a condition outside of this approval?
Yes, I talked with Lori Campbell. She's the District 1 traffic engineer today. Yes, I'm willing to. I'm still kind of waiting to get some feedback from her, but yes, I'm willing to work. We're willing to work with that condition.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from Planning Commission to the applicant or to staff? Hearing none, we'll open up to public comment. So we'll open to public comment. We encourage those who would like to comment via email or the web to begin sending in letters and emails. That email is cocboardmeeting@columbiasc.gov or on the web at https://publicinput.com/cocpc-May 2021. For those wanting to leave a voicemail or to speak live, please call 855-925-2801. When prompted, please enter the meeting code 7921. Then press *2 to leave a voicemail or press *3 to speak live. Please be sure your computer audio is off to avoid feedback. We will pause to hear any comments that have been received in writing and or those any via voicemail or on the line.
I do have an email. This is from Robin Spaniel, who lives on 2210 Wallace Street. And she says, why does it say proposal request site plan approval for the construction of medical office building? Is there going to be a medical office? Under use, it does not list medical. Is this listed under office?
I can answer that. Yes, there will be a medical office on the first floor, half the first floor, or we think there will be, tentatively. Don't have tenants lined up, but that's the thought process.
Okay. That's an acceptable use for the zoning, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I believe it's actually, it's going to be, that's one of the uses that's going to be in there. It's going to be mixed use.
Right. Okay. Any other emails, Lucinda, at this stage?
There are no other emails at this point.
I do have a caller. I could pass them through.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. This is the Planning Commission.
Yes, this is Chuck Sally.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Chuck.
Okay, good. Jamie, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Hey, so I've got some real concerns about closing Phillip Street. I own the building at 1220 Cook Avenue. It's a 18,000 square foot warehouse that's leased to Real Floors, Inc. I have run this by the general manager, Mike Jumper at Real Floors, and he has said that if they close Phillip Street, he has suppliers that said he will not deliver to him anymore because they can't make the turning radius, not only from North Main to Cook, but from Cook to Phillip Street. That needs to be improved as well. So That's this is a serious risk to that. Sox and Freeman is the same way. Corporate Concepts are also equally concerned about that. Without the improvements necessary for truck traffic to enter Phillips Street from those others, you're going to really severely damage the value of those properties by closing what is now a public road.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Chuck Sally? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chuck.
Okay.
Do we have any other callers?
I do not have any other callers at this time.
Okay. Any other emails, Lucinda?
I have not seen any additional emails at this time.
Okay. Well, having no other callers or any emails, are there any other questions from the Planning Commission to staff or to the applicant?
And Jamie, I'm sorry, I do have a caller that has just entered the queue.
Okay, patch them through. Good evening. This is the Planning Commission.
Hello, this is Chris Freeman of Sox and Freeman Tree Company. How are you doing today?
Doing good, Mr. Freeman.
Good. Listen, first of all, let me emphasize that Sox and Freeman has no opposition to the Middleton's proposed development. Matter of fact, being a long-term business in the community, we feel like it's a great boost for our community. And actually, it's, I think, a real gutsy move on their part to make this investment. But, being at our current location now for some 60 years, we don't want, like Mr. Sally said, we don't want to be the end user here that gets punished by limiting or elevating our exposure to ingress and egress from the intersections of Cook Street to off North Main or from North Main to Miller. I know these are residential roads. They do need improving, but, at 60-year history, we have been able to make this work. But closing the end of Phillips Street right now without a guarantee that we have a greater turning radii at those intersections, and as well, Cook Street and Phillips Street, we don't feel like it is right for y'all to approve any proposed plan until we have a guarantee that those things are in place. We don't want to be the bearer of what could be a higher risk, aggravation, and because as is with the new development of Main Street, redevelopment of Main Street, North Main, the intersections there have become even narrower than they ever have been. So it's almost difficult for passenger vehicles to make those turns, much less when you put a truck like ours, or if Real Floors is having an 18-wheeler delivery. Occasionally we get 18-wheeler delivery. So we just see that there's a higher risk involved here if we do not have those guarantees of much wider intersections there. So until then, we're standing firm that we don't believe any proposal should be approved until we have that guarantee.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Any questions from
Thank you.
Commission to Mr. Freeman? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other callers, Andrew?
No, there are no more callers.
Okay. All right. Any other final questions or questions for the staff or for the applicant from the Planning Commission?
I guess I'm confused about where to go from here. It sounds like there are some, outstanding issues with the traffic piece that, I mean, can they be resolved? I mean, is it our purview? There's been a lot of talk, so I'm just trying to figure out is that something DOT is going to figure out eventually? So if we pass this as is, at some point it will be, something that will go to another, decision-making body to make a final decision on that. What's the takeaway from all that discussion?
Hey, this is Greg Middleton here. I'll just interject if nobody else knows. The Richland County court system, the Court of Pleas, is the one that makes the final judgment on a road closure, and they do that based on city staff recommendations, SCDO recommendations, and other defendants in the case.
Lucinda?
Yeah, I mean, the road closure and will certainly have to, that's actually going to city council for a public hearing, I believe tomorrow, and then we'll end up in the court system. So my understanding, Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the site plan approval, the site plan is dependent upon the road closure happening. But then the planning commission has to approve any, off-site improvements that they feel it is necessary to make the site plan work based on staff recommendations.
That's correct, Lucinda.
I'd like to reiterate that we are going to have 18-wheeler truck access to our facility as well. So it's in our best interest to have either Miller and Phillips or Cook and Phillips or Miller and North Main or Cook and North Main to be accessible with an 18-wheeler truck as well. So just to give you guys some reassurance that we can't get product unless we have 18-wheeler access.
So I guess my question is there a way to approve this plan with the idea that we understand that someone else will be dealing with this traffic issue, which needs to be resolved before anything can actually happen in terms of building this site out? Is that something we can do? Lucinda?
I mean, I think so. It sounds like if the conditions that the planning commission puts in their motion are not, satisfied per the city staff that made the recommendation, then it would have to come back to planning commission. Drew sounded a little bit flexible in terms of, exactly what the improvements would have to be made, but he would need to be comfortable with the solution that is proposed in order for it to be resolved at the staff level.
So is there, I keep coming back to, is there a way to approve it and to say that it would be subject to approval by the city traffic engineer? I
think that's acceptable if Drew is comfortable with that. Jonathan, does that sound like that meets the site plan approval that you are understanding?
And I guess the question is, I know that there was some discussion about both intersections, and then there's discussion about one intersection. I believe that the developer is asking for flexibility on one of the intersections, and I believe the callers were stating that they needed two of the intersections. So I think, you'd have to kind of figure out exactly, are you saying both intersections or one intersection? Drew's initial comments read, the intersection improvements to include an increase in turn radii must be made to the intersection of North Main Street and Cook Street, as well as North Main and Miller Street, to accommodate commercial vehicles and automobiles at the expense of the developer, with coordination between SCDOT and the City of Columbia. So if the plans were to be approved with that, then that would be the condition. And if, let's just say they didn't want to, they couldn't make the improvements to both of the intersections, then it would have to come back to the planning commission to be relieved of that, to be relieved of a condition.
So Jonathan, would it be possible, I know I keep coming back to this, but I'm just trying to figure it out. Is there a way to approve this subject to, you know, with all staff comments, but stating that the traffic plan, just period, for both intersections, for whatever happens from here, that the traffic plan needs to be, you know, agreed upon with the city traffic engineer? Is there a way to do that? Sorry. Jonathan?
If that's the, if that's the, you know, if that's the condition of the planning commission, then, you know, we'd have to see if that could work.
Okay, I mean, I'm just trying
In
to figure out.
coordination with, we'd have to also coordinate with DOT. It'd be, you know, the city of Columbia, the developer, and SCDOT.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out a way that we can sort of approve this, understanding that the traffic piece is still out there. And I mean, I don't know how much good it would come back if we approved it subject to all staff comments, including the traffic piece, and then it couldn't be done, and then it has to come back to planning commission with a new plan. I just don't see the utility in that when there are other people who need to be involved in the process. But it also sounds like there are major issues, so I don't want to just relieve all responsibility for that. As I'm just trying to figure out a way to do those things. So I don't know if
Understood.
because I feel like this is the second time they've been back, and everything else is good to go, but you know, this is the piece that's hanging out there, and they're, you know, as Hoyt said, they're motivated to get it figured out. I know everybody wants to get it figured out. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm also not a traffic engineer, so I don't know what the utility would be in it coming back to us if there's a way that, you know, other people need to get it figured out. But I mean, it sounds like it can't really be built until that gets figured out for a lot of different reasons. Is that correct?
Yes.
Including DOT. Okay, I'm just trying to clarify, because it seems like if there's a way we could approve it, but understand that the traffic issue needs to go through some other, you know, some other approval processes, and we wouldn't have to see it again based on the traffic piece. Because I mean, anyway, I'm just trying to figure that out. So anybody else on the planning commission have a thought?
I would just say that I concur with your thoughts, and I think that from what I thought I heard from Drew is that he's willing to work at a staff level with Hoyt to come up with something that works alongside with the DOT. I mean, at the end of the day, those three entities have to come up with something that works. I don't know how you approve something with any sort of condition on it, other than there being a condition that those three work together to, you know, create the best traffic scenario possible. So, I mean, I would say we move to approve this with the condition that the developer, the engineer, the city, and the DOT work together to see what can happen with these intersections.
Yeah, that's all we're asking for.
And I think we need to make sure that we also ensure that all of the other staff comments get included, because there are other staff comments as well. So, I mean, I'm ready to make a motion unless someone else has some additional comments or thoughts.
Okay. Any other questions from Planning Commission? All right, hearing none, I'll accept the motion.
I move that we approve this project. Lucinda, do I need to state what project it is?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm gonna need to go to a different screen to do that.
Okay.
Hang on.
I can go ahead and make the motion if you want.
Okay. I mean, just to be clear, I'm supporting what Jamie said, which is that it needs to include all of staff comments other than the traffic piece, which then needs to be settled between the Department of Transportation, the developer, and the City of Columbia Traffic. So if that's what you're going to make the motion for, and you can include, there we go.
Okay, you got it.
All right, I'll go ahead. It's here, and I started it. So, all right, I move that we approve the development at 3452 North Main Street, 3500 North Main Street, 1217 Sunset Drive, and 1205 through 1211 Phillips Street, including all staff comments except for the comments on traffic from the city. And on that piece, that we note that the Department of Transportation, the developer of this project, and the city traffic department need to work together to come up with a solution that is agreeable to all entities.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is approved.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is the some requested revisions to the new City of Columbia zoning map that is set to take effect on August 30th in conjunction with the Unified Development Ordinance. These changes are mainly due to errors where we had accidentally rezoned properties that had already been rezoned previously, so we needed a match. Some was council input, and some were errors that we caught taking second, third, fourth looks at the map. So this is kind of a cleanup amendment. So, and these come to you all today. Council just gave first reading to the overall maps, and I think Lucinda's flipping through them. These will go through council also that they are effective before the August 30th date, so that when the maps do take effect, these changes will have been approved and adopted.
Okay. Was that everything, Rachel?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Any questions from Planning Commission regarding these revisions in this case? Hearing none. Do we have to have any sort of public comment on this one?
Yes.
Okay. So no questions from the Planning Commission to staff that I'm aware of. So we'll open it to public comment. Again, we encourage those who would like to comment via email or the web to begin sending in letters and emails. Emails should be sent to cocboardmeeting@columbiasc.gov or on the web at https://publicinput.com/cocpc-May 2021. For those of you wanting to leave a voicemail or speak live, please call 855-925-2801. And when prompted, please enter the meeting code 7921. Then press *2 to leave a voicemail or press *3 to speak live. Be sure your computer audio is off to avoid feedback. We will pause briefly to allow for any calls or any emails to come in and hear those comments. So Lucinda, have we had any emails?
I do not see any emails at this time.
Okay. Andrew, do you have any callers on the line regarding case number 12?
Likewise, I do not have any callers in the queue.
Okay. Maybe we'll just take another brief pause just to make sure our technology isn't too slow. No emails, Lucinda? Okay.
No, sir.
No emails, no callers, Andrew?
Still no callers.
Okay. All right, having no callers on the line or no emails from the public, are there any other questions or any questions from Planning Commission? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve the requested revisions to the city council for the City of Columbia zoning map to take effect on August 30th, 2021.
Got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any
Who
opposed?
that
say no.
second was?
Ford.
Thanks, Clark.
Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it, the motion is approved.
Thank you.
All right. Going on to other business. Is there any other business?
None that I'm aware of.
Hearing none, I'll accept the motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second, got a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 The motion is adjourned. The motion's approved. The meeting is adjourned.
Have a good one.
Y'all
Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.